Now let's head over to the sports side in our On the Sideline segment, where we'll learn how best to warm up for exercise.
Hi, we're here at Sawmill Park, and we're here to discuss warm-ups before playing. And Dr. Sock, is there a specific warm-up youth should do or adults should do?
Well, the great thing is we have Dave Vincent here, who is from Active Body and Health. Not only is he there, but he's also a coach of kids and helps out with Anne Arundel County's coaching education classes. So that's the man that I turn to when there are questions like that. So I'll let Dave take the...
There is a difference between warming up adults and warming up young athletes, because what you want to do is you want to start with low to moderate intensity on the warm-ups, and then progressively get to the sport-specific movement, whether it's a workout or whether it's a sport.
Okay.
What else do you find? You know, the old school used to be like you would stretch first, then you would warm up. But I remember back in the day, old style aerobic classes taught us to warm up first, then stretch. So which is best for kids and adults?
Well, studies are showing that basically that you get more power in your muscles when you warm them up first. And then if you want to work on flexibility, you should stretch with a static stretch afterwards.
So a brisk walk or a jog before you start
Right.
to play, and then a stretch.
A brisk walk would be great to start, because you want to get your core temperature up, you want to get your range of motion in, and then you want to make sure that you work on the specific movements that you're going to work on. So if you sit there and you're working on sprinting, or if you're working on lateral movements, you want to hit those muscles that are going to be working while you're doing the exercise.
Great.
Well, David, one of the big buzzwords now is dynamic warm-up. What does dynamic mean, and why is it so important compared to just a brisk walk or warming up?
A dynamic warm-up becomes more specific because you hit all planes of movement, which is whether it's forward, backwards, up, down, turning or twisting. So you want to sit there and you want to use those movements in those directions in order to be more specific on the exercises or the sport you're going to be at.
How long should a warm-up last?
I prefer anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to do a warm-up, because what'll happen is I'll take about 5 to 10 minutes to sit there and do the core temperature, and then I'll work on something specific, whether it's a tennis player or a basketball player or just someone who's going to do a regular workout.
So warm-ups can be as sport-specific as the practice itself. And I guess coaches need to know they need to budget time if they're running practices to make it fit the schedule so they can get everything in.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now I see more coaches going with the dynamic warm-up, and they have their kids in there an hour ahead of time just to do, take their time to do the warm-up. Some coaches do a half hour, some coaches do just 15 minutes, but now with the trends that are going out there, they're doing more dynamic warm-up before any sport or practices.
Right, and I've been a part of some of your practices, and that's where I've learned a lot about dynamic warm-ups. But one of the things that we've also done is incorporate the use of foam rollers in warm-ups. Now, we used to think, and I like them after workouts, but now there's some really neat research that people can foam roll to help with a good warm-up.
Well, some people like to use the foam rollers after they warm up because they might be a little sore from previous practices or workouts, so they like to loosen up a little bit. But one thing that you don't want to do is to sit there and make sure you go a full length when it comes to stretching, because what happens, you make the muscles lengthen to the point where they don't have as much power. So a good warm-up and a little bit of foam rolling goes a long way, followed by stretching and a deeper foam rolling session afterwards is the best way to go.
What about cool down after this game?
After the game, a good static stretch would be good, and then the foam rolling, and that's what I use for cool down.
Great, I couldn't agree more. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Warming up properly is so important to keep you and your kids on the field and off the sidelines.